welcome to another episode of the WestsLife podcast, sponsored by Wests Ashfield Leagues, the best place to watch the game live and loud, and you can do that again next Sunday when we play the Sharkies. As always, give us a follow on the socials at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, which the guys are doing tonight, which we'll talk about in a little moment. And check out the YouTube. Give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel. And tonight, my fab co-hosts have both joined us. It's probably lucky that we had, how many days? 4 days to cool off, but I think the fire is still burning in both of them. Firstly, for MG Pump Solutions, or from MG Pump Solutions, Shayne. Rob and I, not going to lie, Rob and I were a little bit worried that we wouldn't convince you to come and relive that another heartbreaking game. But a few days later, how are you feeling about it now?
Oh, easily just as frustrated. I think I'm frustrated about other aspects, definitely not with what I've seen from the team. Like, I can't expect great things with the cattle we've got. Just more other aspects of the game, which we'll get into later. It's sort of it's a hard pill to swallow, and it doesn't seem to be getting any easier each year. So I have to sort of just cop it, and hopefully it all changes.
And Rob, thankfully you're going through a little bit of a illness at the moment, but as always, you're a trooper, and appreciate you coming on for another review night.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Good to be here. Just want to give a quick shout out to my nephew, Jordan. He's been in the Children's Hospital. He's been a little bit sick, and he's been a very good boy for Mummy and Daddy and the wonderful doctors and nurses there. So just want to let him know that Auntie Lisa, Uncle Rob and the boys love you, and we hope you're home really soon and get well.
Yep, and you've been giving us updates about him as he's going, and as Shayne and I said to you off air, we're thinking about him, and all the love.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, from all the WestsLife family. It's like a family now. So a little bit of a segue. So you might notice the audio is slightly different from the boys, a little bit clearer, hopefully. But so we're testing out some streaming software tonight, and our Patreons can listen and chat as we record this live. So we've just invited the guys through the Discord. So we see Aaron and Justin are listening in at the moment, so they're getting a live show. So a little bit of a look behind the scenes. They got a bit of extra golf talk from Shayne off the air, so that's what you get for your Patreon dollars. A bit of extra golf chat from the boys. But no, this is something we're trying to get happening soon, and not being super expert at it, but it looks like it might be a goer to make this a regular thing. So we'll open it up and start live broadcasting, and it's cool. We can get questions and comments from the guys straight through. Like Justin just says, we sound a lot clearer. So obviously we've had some audio issues in the past, but as you said off air or pre-show, Rob, we're entering the 21st century. We're in about 2014 now, I think.
Bad year.
I don't know why I picked that year. Yeah, we're.
I'm thinking West Tigers.
Yeah, well, okay. Let's go 2011. We're in 2011. I'm sure there was live streaming in 2011. There was probably live streaming in the early 2000s, but yeah. So obviously we're going to review the another heartbreaking game. The loss to the Titans on the weekend. But first, we'll go through a bit of news and the lower grades. So in New South Wales Cup, the New South Wales Cup, as you on our previous show, we said it was meant to be at Lickham Oval on Saturday afternoon. That ended up being moved to Leichhardt Oval Sunday night. And Shayne and Rob, we watched the live streams. And so Rob, did you happen to catch the cup game last night?
No, I didn't actually. I actually had a wedding to go to, which I somehow managed to get there. I'm not sure how, but yeah, got to the wedding and had a big night. So I never saw any of it, to be honest.
Shayne, you watched the New South Wales Cup this morning. So for those that don't know, the Magpies were up 18-12 and then ended up losing 28-12. The North Sydney Bears scored a couple of tries late. Shayne, are you there?
I think we've lost him, mate. I
We
just
lost
sent you a
him.
message on the chat.
A few tech issues. I thought I added him back in.
Sorry, I stuffed up. Sorry.
Got him? Okay.
Keep pressing the wrong button, and I'm like,
Technology.
keep getting out. I'm the youngest of us all, and I still stuffed it up. Oh, good one.
All good.
Sorry, what was the question?
We're talking about New South Wales Cup. So you watched the replay this morning of the New South Wales Cup. What did you think of the Magpies?
Rua, absolutely love him. Absolutely love him. The way scoring, I think it was pretty sure it was the first try. Just a massive run out of dummy half, absolutely bowled someone over, and then a little flick pass out the back. And it was just beautiful. And that's the sort of stuff we need. Like, there was no hesitations. It was just run as hard as you can and just bowl someone over. Actually, Jakey Simkin as well in the second half. He did exactly the same thing. Dummy half run and just literally bowled through them. I think there was 2 or 3 guys. He just bowled them straight over and scored a try, straight over the top of them. And it's just like, that's the sort of stuff that we need. It's belief in yourself to do it. And it seems that we have players on our first grade roster that don't have the belief that they can do it sometimes. So, bit of hesitation. These guys showed some real promise today. Yesterday. But yeah, watching it today, I was excited, to be honest.
So this week, the West Tigers boys, they head to the Shire to take on the Cronulla Sharks at PointsBet Stadium in a Sunday afternoon thriller. So if you're not heading over to the Shire, you can watch all the action live and loud from the lounge or sports bar at Wests Ashfield Leagues. Kickoff is, of course, at 4:05 p.m. And, of course, while you're there, grab a quick bite to eat at Walk On with all your favourite Asian cuisines, and you can enjoy a cold, refreshing tap beer from just $5.80. It's quite a good range of beers there too. I'm pretty fussy with my beers and like having a good range of beers to choose for and have something a little bit different, but all your favourites are there. That's selected the $5.80 selected tap beers only. Wests Ashfield practices the responsible service of alcohol, and Wests Ashfield is, of course, the home of the Wests Tigers. They're located at 115 Liverpool Road, Ashfield. For more information, visit Wests Ashfield website at westashfield.com.au or follow them on Facebook or Instagram at Wests Ashfield. Yeah, I thought I only caught from about 10 minutes before half time when I realised that it was even being streamed. I think it was someone in our Discord was talking about it. I said, where is this being shown? I didn't even realise, that it was being streamed. So it was good to... It's a shame in this day and age. I wish every New South Wales Cup... I know the cost and stuff, but I think I've said this on the show before. Like, my missus will watch bloody junior Oztag tournaments up in Coffs Harbour through Facebook, and we can't even watch every New South Wales Cup. Like, we're pretty spoiled. I mean, growing up in the 90s, we couldn't even watch Balmain play most games because they weren't on any TV broadcast. But, it'd be cool. It make it a lot easier to follow the second grade if they do a few more Facebook streams. And the commentator, Rob, who was the guy that called the 89 grand final? What was you say his name was?
It was Graham Hughes, but the guy that I heard in the commentary from the link wasn't Graham Hughes.
No, obviously he wasn't. Is Graham Hughes still alive? Is he still around?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still around.
Do another one of these ones.
Yeah. He's obviously retired, but no, the guy sounded like a young version of him. Obviously, it wasn't him, but the guy sounded like him.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you remember, maybe last year or the year before, Fox ran a little show called Controversy Corner for about 20 minutes. at the end
Yeah,
of
that
their Sunday wrap.
he
That he
had
was the one
something
that was
similar. Yeah,
comparing it. Yeah, that was Graham Hughes.
yeah, right. I knew obviously because Rabs kind of took over from him. What when they switched to 9 in the mid
No,
'90s?
Rabs was before him, and then on Channel 10, because Rabs used to do Channel 10 commentary. I think even back with Keith Barnes, the Tigers GM, and
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's all changed. It was like Rex Moss of Channel 7, then Ray Warren Channel 10, and then Ray Warren ended up going to Channel 9. We had Graham Hughes in between somewhere there with Bill Anderson and those sort of guys. And yeah, it's just, gosh, I can go back 40, 50 years on
Yeah, yeah.
everyone. I don't know the batting order, but yeah, he's a great commentator, but please don't put him in the cemetery or anything, mate. You've already written someone off last week.
Who was it a couple of episodes ago? It was former Chris Anderson.
Chris Anderson.
Chris
That's
Anderson.
it. Another
Yeah.
character. Yeah.
He's all good. Shouts to Chris Anderson.
Just so you know, Graham Hughes was a premiership winner in 1980 for Canterbury.
I was going to say he played for the
Josh, in case
Bulldogs,
you're not
didn't
aware.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, he played for the Bulldogs and he played cricket for New South Wales as well. He was a really great sportsman.
There you go. My rugby league memory only goes back to the '94 grand final. That's how far back I can remember watching. So anything before that is only what I've seen on VCR tape or obviously replays on Fox. But so before the Cup guys, the Flegg team got the win over the Roosters. They won 28-26. They led 28-16 until pretty late in the game. The Roosters scored on the buzzer to make it seem like it was a bit closer than it was. Sorry, I forgot to mention that our Cup side, they're second last and they're 0-4. And Jersey Flegg, so they're sitting in 8th. They are 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. So they're actually tied with 4th, so not too bad for the Flegg. In SG Ball, Magpies beat Manly 40-24, and Balmain beat the Sharks 30-28. Tigers are sitting in 7th. They're 4 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. The Magpies are 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, sitting in 12th. In Harold Matthews, so the Magpies are killing it in Harold Matthews. They beat Manly 42-4. Balmain lost 26-10 to the Sharks. So yeah, the Magpies are sitting clear out on top of the table with 0 losses and just a draw. And Tigers are in 9th place. Very familiar for Tigers. With 2 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. The Tarsha Gale girls, they played at Leichhardt as well. It was a big day at Leichhardt because they had the... Do you guys watch any of the WNRL semis?
I didn't live, but I saw the replay of the Roosters coming back from a 16-point deficit. I saw a few of the highlights there against the Broncos, who were favourites.
The Broncos were just like next level. They're just like so well drilled.
Yeah.
They were very, very impressive. So the Tarsha Gale girls, they beat South 28-4. They're in 5th, but on points tied 3rd with 4 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. I had a message from a mate over the weekend who was watching the lower grades, and he was watching the Balmain sides, and he was saying he could noticeably see the defensive structures, a lot of defensive attitude throughout the teams, and then so that seems to be because that was been a real emphasis throughout the club this year is the new defensive schemes, and when you think about it, in first grade we've only conceded tries really off kicks the last few weeks. Yeah, been off kicks.
Yeah.
So, righto, on to the news. So, the whole Luke Brooks thing, because this just becomes news. West Tigers, they make news out of everything. So, behind the curtain, every show day, I just Google West Tigers and click news on Google, and literally Luke Brooks at $1.1 million is literally like there's like 8 or 9 different stories going through just of talking about him being on 1.1 million because they just know it's going to get clicks. But Shayne, do you believe that number? So that for those who don't know, it's come out that Luke Brooks is not going anywhere and that his final deal of his contract next year is for $1.1 million. Shayne, do you have any inside word that's actually what he's going to be paid next year?
No, I've literally heard nothing. And really, like, let's all be honest here. Like, it looked like he was going. Like, we all seem to think that the whole Knights thing was a bit more legit than what was being played out. So, look, I can't imagine. Like, yeah, he probably does have a back-ended deal, but to add 300 grand onto what he's already on, like, nah. Like, that has to be a joke. Like, there's no way we could have done it. And I haven't heard anything of it. So, to be honest, to me, it's just another clickbait article, really.
Rob, do you reckon that's legit?
I'd highly doubt it's legit, but we 1 minute we're meant to believe he's meant to have gone to Newcastle twice. Now we're meant to believe he's on 1.1 million for next year. Yeah, I think as Shayne said, it's probably clickbait. I know Sheen's in the past has done some weird decisions and weird deals back in his tenure, like signing, Adam Blair and getting rid of half our pack and signing Braithen Astor as a halfback when he was a 5'8" and too slow. So, I mean, it's anything's possible, but I highly doubt it. But if by some chance it's true, someone needs to put their hand up and say who's behind setting up that deal. If it's true, I don't believe it's true, but if it is true, we need to find out. Is this another Pasco special or who organised it? Because obviously Sheen's wasn't there. So who would do a back-ended deal for 1.1 million? I thought the back-ended deals were days of the past. So that's what leads me to believe it's clickbait, really. But
yeah,
who knows?
So the thing I tweeted out through the WestsLife Twitter account is the fact that if we had a chance that the Knights were going to take that contract, for what we heard and were told, they were going to take Luke Brooks's contract. So there's no way the Newcastle Knights would have taken that contract knowing he's on $1.1 million. So unless there was talk of us chipping in for it, but the whole Knights thing, because he wanted to go. I know friend of the show Carla replied to us, and she reckons maybe Luke Brooks was willing to take a pay cut just to get away from Sydney and have a fresh start. But
it makes no sense, Josh. I mean, when we tried to get Latrell Mitchell, we were, Chairman Lee Hadjipentelis was, showing off about how we've made this massive offer and he's going to get $900K a year. If we offered Latrell $900K, there's no way Luke Brooks was on 1.1. I just don't want to believe it, and I can't believe. And it's nothing against Luke Brooks. I don't want to bag any of the players. I'm actually, the listeners will be shocked by this. I'm actually more in love with this team than I've ever been in love with before. Like the way they're gutsing it out and playing for each other. I know our attack is absolutely shit, but all it reconfirmed over the weekend for me was how much I love this team, and I don't want to go for the Roosters or Melbourne. I'll take another 10 years of shit. We're Tigers, and we've just got to be resilient. Like our team has to be resilient. And whether it's next week or next year, we're going to come out of this and we're going to be stronger. And once we learn how to win, we will keep winning. So I just think we're going to be better for all this shit we're going through right now. So, yeah, but I don't believe this contract, man. So I don't know. Look, how many clicks would they have got today out of it? Like it went rampant.
Yeah. I didn't watch NRL 360 tonight, but I'm sure.
No, we only got one question at the end of it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Righto, we'll go to the review of the game then. So, obviously, the Titans win on the buzzer, 8-6. Yeah, it's just absolutely to think like the South game, the ending of the South game last year. How it was last year, wasn't it? The Burgess. We thought it was a no try. Was that last year? The last 2 years, it just kind of...
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, it just kind of molded together. The whole COVID in and out thing. But I thought that was like the craziest. It probably still is the craziest finish ever. But this may be the most West Tigers loss ever. Like, it's just... as the Titans were bringing the ball down the field, like I was watching the game in bed and I was just literally... I don't know about you guys, but I felt sick. Like, I literally felt ill. And then they scored that try, and I was just like fell over. I wasn't screaming or yelling or swearing like I was in the Warriors game. I just fell over and just like in disbelief, like literally just keeled over in the fetal position. Just couldn't believe what I just
Yeah,
seen.
I felt the same way. Like there was so much that went on in the 79 minutes before that try, but that try just sums up, unfortunately, some absolute bad luck. Like it was a kick that hit the post that Dane Laurie had covered. It takes a wicked bounce to avoid Seyfarth. Then it gets in Jock Madden's hands, and there's still a minute on the clock, so he's trying to get out. And if you go back a few minutes, if a few seconds had come off that Luke Brooks kick, which for some reason it didn't, there might have only been 20 seconds left in the game, and Jock doesn't try and run out of the in goal. He just falls on the ball, grounds it, and time runs out, and we get a 6-2 win. So
Yeah.
it was absolutely devastating. We're just having some bad luck, but I also think some of the decisions we made were bad prior to that, and that can also lead to bad luck as well. So you do kind of make your own luck in a way. I was pretty we'll get onto it later, I suppose, but I was pretty disappointed with going for goal. I just think it was one of the worst tactical decisions I've seen, even though some of the commentators seem to think it was okay. I think it was just absolutely dumb. One of the dumbest things ever.
Aaron just dropped in the live chat. What was that worse than the South loss? I think that was worse. The South loss, I still walked out of that stadium pretty proud of the team. Justin underneath kind of said something similar. Like we weren't. This is against the Titans, an opposition that we should have beaten, and we like. Yeah, the South loss was weird and heartbreaking in itself, but I still felt good about our side. Whereas the fact that we're 0-4 as well probably makes it worse.
Yeah, I think this was a worse. This felt worse, especially the fact that I thought we had the Warriors on toast, and we should. And I was absolutely devastated after Warriors game, and I said, you know what, Titans are going to put a number on us next week. And then, as it seems to happen with the Tigers, you get 2 or 3 days to settle down, be less emotional, think about things. We were getting a few players back, even though we lost Stefano. They had a few players out, and their fullback being out was a key thing. Like not, having a brand new guy there in Osako and not having Campbell there. And by Tuesday night, I'm thinking, you know what, we can get these guys if we just put that same performance as last week. And we dominated the game. And that stupid ref just hates us. Like Grant Atkins absolutely canes us every chance he gets, like he did last year in our Penrith victory that somehow we got at Leichhardt when he caned us in the penalties. And the Parramatta game where we went with him for 20 minutes, but, his barrage of penalties basically gave them the weight of possession and they just rolled through us. So I just thought the boys were so brave, and it was just, honestly, like I was empty. It didn't hurt that much at the end of the game. I just felt bad for the players. I'm just used to it. It's just so frustrating. But, if it means losing Madge or something like that, I'm kind of hurt for him because we want to be resilient, and our players are showing resilience. They're tackling well. We've conceded 3 tries in 2 games from kicks. I'll call Madge out in terms of attack. Our attack sucks, absolutely sucks. But, the way, the heart they played with and the effort, and even our bad players, like I thought, Jacob Little had a shocker, but to get that concussion from, Mo Fotuaika and then come back on, like that's gutsy, man. Like I know his service was terrible out of dummy half, but they're having a go. Like they don't want to be there. They don't just come back on the field. They just stay off the field. So I'm really proud of all the boys, and I love them. I think they did the jersey proud, but we're just not getting the competition points. And half our fans are like, well, fuck this. We just want to win a game. Like, I don't care how brave they are. They're not good enough yet. 4 weeks ago, just be competitive. Hey, we're happy if we're competitive. Well, we've been competitive. So what do you think, Shayne?
I think just more frustration over decisions, like you said, refereeing, and both are right. Like I agree with everything you said. Just watching, I think, to be honest, to me, it's just NRL in general. If you're a bottom team, you don't get the rub of the green ever. They won't let you
that's
get
what
the
Todd
50.
Payton's actually said yesterday, Josh. I don't know if you heard that, or the day before, sorry. Todd Payton said that in his press conference, that all the top teams get the decisions and the weaker teams don't. But sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
No, that's all right. That's all right. And it seems like it's getting worse and worse each year. Look, I can't look. You got to think of it this way as well. You've got Peter V'landys who's changing rules and changing the way the game's played. It feels like weekly. So these referees are now getting told, oh, you have to do this when this happens, or blah blah. You know what I mean? They're just changing everything. So like, look, I can understand when things during play get missed. But then we've now, I reckon, like personally, I believe Gildart's try was a try. The fact it didn't go up and get even looked at by the
Yeah.
bunker is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the second
Luciano-
part bothers me more, Shane. The second part bothers me more. It's like not checking Luciano the week before against the Warriors. Like, I actually think it's no try. I think it's a knock on. But you're right. Why doesn't it just go up no try? Check it.
We'll go look at it. Like, look at everything else.
Exactly.
I'll go look at something that we can all see on the TV was a knock on, like a clear knock on. And they'll go look at it for 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes. And you're like, for fuck's sake, like we can all see it's a knock on. All of a sudden, it's Tigers who have the chance here. They won't even look at it. Like, what? I just don't understand it.
Well, last week, Shane, we got one piggyback penalty when James Tarmow was put in a dangerous position for a lifting tackle. That was a one piggyback penalty we got out of our half. Anything discretionary where it was holding down or something like that or offside, Gold Coast had like a 5-1 penalty count after 20 minutes. And then Peachy's sin bin, what a joke. What an absolute joke of a sin bin. That was like nothing. That's not, someone's going to score a try or, it was a second nudge. It's like something that's done every week. We were getting those sort of things and nothing came of it. Like even our controversial penalty with 4 minutes left, that technically could have been a sin bin. On James Tarmow, it just doesn't go our way, mate. And I don't want to play the victim card or anything like that. But yeah, we're just not treated right. And the poor buggers, like it's just so frustrating to just see one team get reffed out of a game every week, and we were clearly the better team. So as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like I told you, I messaged Jimmy after the Warriors game, and I literally said to him, like, good game. Like, and then after that, it was, why do we get reffed out of games every single time?
Yeah.
And he literally just said, your guess is as good as mine, which means they know about it. They're not fucking silly. They know they get reffed out of games. The problem is, we're not standing up to them. You got to look at like Ricky Stewart, those sort of dudes. They'll just, like, I'm sure their GM's like, you know what, cop the fine, pump them.
Yeah.
And our GM is like, don't really, money.
Mate, we got a GM that didn't want bloody Hastings and Dwayne to go up for a couple of $100 to be with the team on the coach's request.
Yeah,
well, that is just ridiculous.
Actually, let's talk about that. Yeah, go on that, Rob. Yeah.
No, I'm just going to say, mate, like the coach. What can you name one NRL club that would refuse a coach a request like that, where he could get two of his main men, most arguably the two guys that will be halves or at least 5'8" and lock at worst, and both leaders of the club. Madge wants them up there. They want to be up there, and the club says no over a few $100, and their reasoning is, all the other injured players will then be entitled to go up. No, the other players don't have to be entitled to go up. They're not the main men of the team. They're not playing in the spine. They're not playing in the middle. Like, it's just ridiculous that this, and everyone wants to put shit on Madge. Well, Madge is pushing shit uphill because he's got a shit front office. So, and it seems to have come out in the press conference when asked that no one denied that it wasn't true. So it's obviously happened. And I think Hastings actually showed a lot of leadership to, it only cost him a couple of $100, but he didn't have to do that. He's used his own money to fly up and be with the team. That just shows you how much he wants to be successful, and he knows the team needs him, and he knows he's a couple of weeks away from being back, and it was all going to help and be in the box with Madge and support him. I don't know what sort of club we got, man, up top, but they're just, seriously, every time I think they can't do anything lower, they stoop to a new low. And it's all Pasco, mate. It's I am biased about Pasco.
You would think that it's all part of the cost. Like the hotel, they're already paying for the hotel for the whole crew, which is more than just players, training staff, coaching staff. Like there's already, like, what's a tiny little bit more to get Adam and Jackson,
even if it costs $1,000, Josh. Even if it's
a drop in the ocean.
A room for 2 nights and 2 airfare returns. I mean, come on,
And it's the type of shit that will stop players from wanting to play for our club, because it's just there's no way the Roosters or Storm would have done that. So,
100%.
Right, we'll go player by player now. So, the guys in the in the stream, they'll be able to see that I've got the West Tigers website open with the team list and stats. So we'll go from jersey number 1, which of course was Dane Laurie. So Dane had 15 runs for 68 metres, only 11 kick return metres for a fullback, 20 post-contact metres, 1 line break, 4 tackle breaks. He had 12 tackles, 1 missed, and no penalties, no errors, or anything like that. Shayne, thoughts on Dane Laurie's game last weekend? We've been pretty critical of him this year. I thought he was hustling a little bit more and a little bit more involved than previous weeks, but still not at the level that we kind of expect from him.
Yeah, look, he's definitely better than against the Warriors. Like, that's really not hard to beat. I'd say, like, he was 10% of himself against the Warriors. And look, I'd say he's probably up to about 60 in this game. I noticed he was there for a bit of support play. But, like, his kick return meters and just all run meters, like 68 meters. Like, look at every other fullback. I don't care if they're, like, whatever team they are, they're all over 100 meters, no matter what. And it's just like he's just not there enough. He's not in the support play to grab the ball to make that extra 10 meters. Like, the little bits and pieces that we need him to do. Look, I'll be honest, Teddy's been playing pretty bad this year because to me it looks like he's trying to burden everything. Like, he's trying to be a half, he's trying to be a fullback. But have a look at his meters. Like, he's still pumping the meters and he's everywhere. Look at Turbo. Like, the last couple of weeks, like, I think he blew his knee out on the weekend and he had like almost 260 meters, 270 meters. And I understand these teams play everything through their fullback. Like, you look at Pappenhausen, he's always got like 170, 180, pushing 200. We need Laurie to be there to blow through the holes. But as we said, well, as I've been saying, it's just like the speed's not there. Like, can he do it? Can he make the break? That's my worry with him at the moment. It's not the fact that he's not a good player. Like, he is a good player. We saw that last year. He was our best player last year. Like, easily our best player last year. And then this year he's come out, and yeah, I understand he broke his leg, but as we were saying in previous episodes, like doing backflips on your scooter, mate, like, we know your leg's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't use that as an excuse. I know he's not the fastest fullback out there, but like last year he was breaking tackles. His kick returns were wild. Like, he would run back hard. He's not a big fella. And like, he was breaking tackles from kick returns, running through forwards. And it was just like, that's what I wanted to see. And this year it's just been, I don't know, a bit lackluster for me.
Anything to add, Rob?
No, I agree with what Shayne's saying. Is that he definitely had a better game, last Thursday night than the week before. I do disagree a little bit in the sense of his involvement. I thought he got involved quite a bit against the Warriors. Just every time he touched the ball, he dropped it. But last week, I mean, he made a great run just before halftime, probably about 5 minutes out from halftime. If he'd have thrown the dummy, he probably scores, but he avoided a couple of tacklers when nothing was on, and he made that scoot up the right, and he just kind of got bluffed by the fullback. The fullback gambled and left him alone, and Laurie threw the ball to Noffa, and Noffa got bundled in a touch, and then probably not long after halftime as well, there was one sort of little break. We had a little bit of an overlap, and if Laurie had gone short to Roberts, I think Roberts scores, and he throws a cutout ball to Noffa. That was about 45 or 46 minutes into the game.
Yep, I noted that too today.
There are a couple of bad options, but like, he definitely played a lot better. I agree with Shayne, and as we've both said previously, he's just lacking that half a step that he normally has. But hopefully he gets that back. But yeah, much better performance. Like, he was shocking, and to be honest, probably cost us a game against the Warriors. But he certainly had a good game, and his hands were much better last Thursday night. So I thought he went pretty well overall.
That pass where he threw it out to Noffa, 100%. I replayed that today a couple of times. if he hits Jimmy Roberts short, I think
It's a try.
100%. At very worst, Jimmy Roberts is one-on-one with a fullback, but he has
Yeah.
cover. He's running, coming back to the left, and he probably would have had someone to draw a pass to.
It's
So
literally an 8-meter hole. It was a
yeah,
huge hole.
it was
just
like,
opened up like their head.
yeah, it was just baffling. I mean, in the speed of the game, it happens, but just that's the thing about this team. There's a lot of those moments. There was a similar one with Jock Madden, I noticed too, late in the game, where I know I'm kind of skipping
I know what you're going
six
to say.
players.
Mamalo?
Yeah, but Marlo blows up massively because Jock
Yeah.
Madden, we had, I think it was 4-on-2,
Exactly.
and
the
Jock
kick was
Madden
on,
stepped
wasn't it?
back inside and
Back
tried
to
to
the
take it
right.
himself. If
Yeah.
it goes through the hands, we probably score. Then
If he goes
two,
through the hands or puts the kick through, it's a try.
yeah. So
Yeah, no, I noted that too, actually.
Righto, David Nofaluma, he, I thought Noth was pretty decent in this game. He had 13 runs, 132 metres. Still not quite peak Noth that we knew from previous years, but 39 post-contact metres, a line break, 4 tackle breaks, 2 offloads. He had 8 tackles, 1 missed. And did he have any errors? Yes, he had 2, 1 handling error, but no penalties. Rob, I'll let you go first on Noffa. I thought not a standout game from him, but pretty good effort from Noffa, I thought.
Yeah, I thought he was one of our better players, Josh. Like, he won't get in my 3-2-1, but I thought he was definitely in our top 5 players. Good meters. That area you're talking about was off that goal line dropout where he made a mad break, and as he got tackled, the ball came loose a couple of meters out from the line. So he could have almost scored there, or if he had someone with him, or I don't know, even if he'd cut to the left instead of back inside, I reckon he would have found support and drawn Corey Thompson in. But no, he had a great game, and it actually felt like the Noffa of old. So no, I thought it was a really good game by him, and I hope he keeps that up. That's more of what we want to see.
Shayne, thoughts on Noff?
Exactly the same. It was probably, for me, it was his best game of the season. He just seems a bit more aware, a bit more in the game. You know, sometimes he sort of can drift out a little bit. He didn't seem to drift out at all. Didn't have that sulky look on his face that he sometimes gets. So, like, as soon as that happens, I'm happy with him. Like, when you're not drifting in and out, like, and you're paying attention, his runs back through were awesome. Like, look at his post-contact meters. What was it, 39 contact?
34. 39, yep.
Yeah, 39. Like, that is the most out of, other than Kenny.
Kenny, yeah. Just,
that's
Zane had 38, Kelmer 37. Oh, sorry, no, Luch and Joe, they're in the 60s.
Yeah, Ken Mamalo is just an absolute beast. We have to give him the ball more, obviously. But but yeah, look, like Noffa, you got to remember Noffa runs sideways a lot, and he's not running as hard as he can straight into people. So for him to get 39 post contact, that's wild. Like he's sort of stepping, moving around a lot. He's not running full tilt into people. So look, I'm happy with him.
I sometimes don't mind what he's doing there. It's kind of like a running back in American football, kind of trying to find walking like kind of jinking along and kind of finding a path, the best path to go through. As long as when he's going sideways, he finds a hole. The worst thing about going sideways is it risks the other team basically coming and smashing you and pushing you backwards. If he goes sideways 40 metres, but it means he gets an extra 3 metres forward, then it's worth it. And it also means more time for the forwards to get back. So the whole Noffa running sideways, I don't mind too much. I know when you're a kid, they tell you to run it straight and run it hard, but sometimes you run it straight and hard, you get driven back, or it doesn't waste enough time. The more time you're in possession, the better. So I don't mind. And he seems to be pretty good. He kind of every now and then will find like a half a gap and just push. And those 32 post-contact meters are probably how he's done it. So on to Jimmy Roberts. So he had 11 runs for 101 meters. he would have had more if Dane Laurie have hit him on that short ball. 25 post contact meters, a line break, 6 tackle breaks, which I think is the most. Yep, easily the most in the team. An offload, 3 passes, 15 tackles, 2 missed. And error-wise, Jimmy had 0, but gave away 2 penalties. Rob, you're usually pretty harsh on Jimmy. Well, not this year. I think we're definitely coming around. The three of us are definitely coming around on Jimmy, and pretty solid game again from him.
Yeah, I think I've been pretty fair in my assessment of James Roberts this year. He's playing every game like it's his last ever game. Like, I loved what he did the other night. He's definitely in my points. Some of those post-contact meters, especially the break he made in the second half where he beat 2 or 3 blokes, that the effort that he's chasing balls into the in goal, even the ones that are going dead or the ones that aren't going dead, he's just playing like his life depends upon it. So very impressed with him. Did not think he'd have any impact this year, and he's absolutely proved me wrong. So, a lot of guys were calling for Stafford Toa to be right centre last week. Guys, you're all wrong. James Roberts had a great game.
Shayne, thoughts on Jimmy? The other Jimmy?
To be honest, to me, it felt like he was my best player of the game.
Wow, 3 points for Shayne.
Because the fact that he didn't actually have to go up against his opposing centre. If you noticed who he had to go up against in David Fafita, man, I was actually shocked with how he was defending. Like, I proper couldn't believe it. Like, at the end, I think there was about 5 minutes to go. Titans had the ball coming down our end. Fafita ended up getting an offload off, but Jimmy smashed him.
Yep.
Like, put it into him and dropped him. And I was shocked because Jimmy doesn't play defense. He plays offense. That is it. And for him he put the hit on quite a few times and stopped Fafita. Like, I just couldn't believe it. To be honest, I'm still shocked about, thinking about it. I'm still shocked with how he pulled off what he did against such a destructive player.
Yeah, he definitely. It's definitely. Yeah, seems like he's, like you said, Rob, playing like it's his last game, and the fact he was on a train and trial over the summer, and now, you'd be hard pressed to not have him on the side. Moving forward, if he keeps playing like this. So his other centre, obviously Ollie Gildart, 10 runs, 92 run meters, 35 post contact. He had no tackle breaks or line breaks. He had 16 tackles, 2 missed, and there was definitely errors. There was 3 errors, but no penalties given away. Shayne, Ollie Gildart, still settling in, but a few, just like the drop ball where he knocks it back. I thought it was knocked back, by the way.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I.
It was,
So do I.
like, that decision, you had a bit of a rant on the refereeing before, but they said that it was knocked back, but he went in front of the ball or something.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah,
that got knocked back?
I don't know what
Like,
they're talking
cool.
about there. If anyone in the
Well,
chat can explain that, let us know.
That means it got really knocked back, I don't know. To me, it was just such a dumb call.
Yeah.
It was just another one of those calls, where I'm sitting there on the lounge, and I literally just screamed, "Get fucked!"
Yeah, I think I did too.
I just could not believe it. It was just such a.
I was screaming
call.
challenge.
I just couldn't believe it, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Why are we?
What bothers me, Shayne? I reckon it's not. I'm not saying it's definitely knocked back, but what bothers me, if that same thing happened to the Gold Coast, I guarantee you there would have been a camera 15 metres out from the try line, horizontally in line with where the Gold Coast player tips his finger. But with us, we get an angle from the halfway line looking at Ollie, and you really can't tell from that camera angle
But
whether it's gone
the
back
referee
forward
says it's
or
knocked
he's on
back. The referee says it's knocked back. The video
No,
referee.
well, haven't we challenged it? Oh, the video ref
The
said
video
it's knocked back.
referee said he knocked it back, and then but because he moved in front of the ball or something,
Well, that's stupid. That makes no sense.
yeah, I thought the rule was if you knock it towards your own try line, it's knocked back. If you knock it towards your opposition try line, opposition try line, it's a knock on. And even the commentators, Dan Ganane and Brandy Alexander, there was a few of these decisions, even like the no try. We touched on it before, but obviously Oliver Gildart, he should have had a try. So someone told me no, they called it forward pass, but looking back through watching the game, the referee calls knock on, but the ball goes. Definitely touches Kenny's arm, but does it not go? If it goes from his arm in the same direction backwards from his arm to Ollie,
the Gildart, then it's a try.
How's it not knocked backwards? How is it a knock on? And and they can check that too.
One, though, Josh. Back to the previous one. If you've heard the video ref say knock back, it does not matter which way Gildart has moved, whether he's gone forwards, backwards, left or right. If it's knocked back, it's knocked back. That moving forward has nothing to do with. So if he'd have knocked the ball back and moved back, are they trying to say it's a knockback? It makes no difference. A knockback is a knockback. Your body position has nothing to do with a knockback. And I never heard that video commentary. I've got the game tape, so I'll listen to it after we finish the pod, because that's really surprising if he said that's even worse. But back on on Oliver Gildart there, Josh, he also, we made a really good break in about the 20th minute of the first half, and he should have set up Ken Mamalo. Maybe Kenny should have come inside, I'm not sure, but he had a chance to get the ball to Kenny earlier, and he ended up throwing his stupid ball forward and almost went over the corner post.
Yep, I know the one you're talking about.
I like you said, I think he's still finding his feet in attack, but he's definitely not making them. He's getting some good meters, but when he's getting those good meters, he's not making the right decisions, just like the week before against the Warriors, where he had that break on halftime where he had Laurie on his inside, and the second half break where we thought he could have kicked ahead for one of the support players. So he's still finding his feet, but from the positive point of view, is his defence was a lot better. So he is improving, but we need him to be a bit better when he's in space.
Right on to Kenny Mamalo. So he had 18 runs, 156 meters, 74 post-contact meters. He 3 tackles, 1 missed. Obviously, the defense wasn't really testing him out too much out that side, but one handling error, and I'm assuming that's obviously the pass from Gildart. Would that error have been on him?
No, I think that's the error where Corey Thompson tackled him a bit early, and we didn't get a penalty from the cross kick. The cross kick in the first half.
Yep.
Where Kenny was bracing himself to catch it. I think Corey Thompson just got him before impact, which could have been a penalty to us. I don't know why we didn't challenge, because it was blatant. But this is, and Kenny's a captain. Like, Kenny, if you know you've been tackled early, mate, and you're the captain, open your mouth, mate. Tell the ref, challenge. You win a penalty. 20 metres out, we get 6 more tackles. Unbelievable, man. Seriously.
Shayne, he's a beast, nonetheless.
Yeah, his post contact meters, it's like 74, and he's ran 156. So almost half of all of his meters, are in contact. Like, that's just stupid. Like, who does that?
Yeah, he's got great numbers. There's no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. He's had a great game.
I definitely think his decision making as well is a bit silly at times. Like, I really think he should have come under Gildart.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I said earlier. Yep, I agree.
He really should have. That wasn't all on Gildart. It was the same as Tawa last week. Tawa was running right beside him, and then Gildart feels pressured to make a punt. Ken did exactly the same thing, just ran right up on him, and I'm like, what the fuck you doing? Like, Man, we were watching. I was at the pub with my mates on Friday. We saw a bit of the Panthers game. One of the tries they scored, what I've noticed is on attack we stand very flat, very very flat. They ran a block play and they were almost at 45-degree on an angled back
Yep.
from Cleary. All of them, 45-degree, and they were running in like a perfect V down to that line and just like slowly closing themselves down and getting the right pass back, giving each other space. We do not do that. We need to tell our wingers, hold back for the pass. Like you need to. Our centres hold back for a pass because they get the ball. All of a sudden, our wingers have just run up hard on everyone. And you've got Gildart, who's now had to force 3 passes like almost forward in 2 games. So we're seeing the same thing all the time, like as if they're not looking at these top teams and running their block plays, sweet little block play like that. They create an overlap with that block play, whereas we don't do it. I think more so than saying, oh, it's Gildart or Jimmy Roberts who are making the issues. I really think it's up to the wingers to hold back a little bit because we've now seen probably almost 3 or 4 tries blown in this year from the same shit. So, look, I think with Kenny, he's a big fella, and as Rob says all the time, we just need to kick to him. I think he needs to play to that strength. We need to, as a team, need to play to that strength. And we just need to get our wingers holding back that tiny bit just to
forward passes often
give a bit of room.
A forward pass is sometimes partly the fault of the person receiving the ball. If they've overrun it, it's all about the timing. So, it's obviously the attack's just not quite clicking yet. And it's 5 games in, but they're still getting used. Hopefully, the cohesion gets it better and better from the centre and wing combinations. Righto, Jock Madden in the 5'8" position. He had 14 runs, 75 minutes. He had 11 post-contact meters, a couple of tackle breaks, 1 offload. He had 17 tackle and only 1 missed. And his kicking game, 11 kicks for 346 meters. He had a forced dropout. And obviously, we all remember his 1 error, and he gave away 1 penalty. What was the penalty? Does anyone remember the penalty that Jock gave away? Top of their head?
I haven't thought about it really, but it'll probably come to me. Not sure.
Yeah, Jock. I thought he was fantastic. Obviously, safe for the final play of the game. Or almost the final scoring play of the game. I thought he looked really good, and he's just getting comfortable in the position and just outshining Luke Brooks. I'm pretty impressed with Jock, and it's going to be hard when Jackson comes back. Shayne, what do they do you reckon? I think Jock's playing too well to drop him.
Oh, look, let's be honest. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one here that thinks Jock played a lot better than Brooks. And, like, what are you meant to do? I reckon Jock's a better halfback than Brooks at the moment. Like, do we just say, hey, let's give him a run? Brooks, you need to go back to reserve grade and have a bit of a run around. Like, get your confidence back up, get something back up. I don't know. Get your brain clicking because it ain't at the moment. There's obviously the one little stuff up with that running inside again, but his kicking was great. He's putting little grubbers through.
Yep.
Like I like his kicking a lot better than Brooks. Like Brooks just throws up that bomb every time, whereas you look for, like, he's looking for grass. Like, you get your Jock's just punching it into the corners, trying to look for some grass. Like, he got it out on the 10-metre line at one point, and like that's what we need. It gives the team a break. It gives everyone a chance to reset. Like, we need to just keep, to be honest, I think we just need to keep going with him, because I'd really like to see him. I don't know whether he's in the 5'8" or the halfback position. I don't really care, as long as he's in half somewhere. I would like to see him and Jackson have a good run at it until Adam gets back, because as you can see in the chat,
Yeah, I was about to say, Justin's suggesting Hastings at 13.
100%. 100%. Hastings at 13 is what we need, because we need, like have a look at Jake Trbojevic. Like, he's a big fella, but he engages the line, attracts defenders, and then throws the pass. That's why he's good. Look at Radley. Look at all those boys. They do the same thing. Like, I just don't. I don't know. I just can't believe that a young fella's come in. He's played what? Would this be his 5th or 6th game of first grade? I reckon probably 5th game.
About that, yeah.
And let's be honest, he was running the show. I think I remember in the group chat, I was chatting to you boys. Look at how Jock's going off at people. And see how he was yelling. He was moving people, telling people, go here, go there. I think I've seen that from Brooks 3 or 4 times in my whole fucking life. Let alone this kid who's come up and just going, hey, no, you are in the wrong spot. Move. Like, where is this from Brooks? Like, why are we persisting with a halfback who just got outshone by a bloke who's played 5 games?
Yeah, it was his 5th game.
Everyone else in our, like, there's a lot of West Tigers supporters who are calling for him to come up. Like, I think it's time. Like, I think we've seen enough in the last 2 games. He's better than Brooks both times.
Would you agree with that, Rob?
Yeah, exactly what Shayne's saying. He's definitely taking more ownership of the team. My biggest worry with Jock was always going to be his defence. 1 missed tackle, so that's, bloody good. His kicking game was outstanding. And to be honest, since Thursday night, when I keep thinking of who I'm going to give my 3-2-1 to, I've changed my mind every day. I've even changed my mind while we're doing the pod about whether I'm giving it to Roberts or Madden. Like, they were just both that good to me last Thursday night. Glad to see Shayne's coming around that he might be able to play 7, because I don't think you were keen on that last week, Shayne. But let's see who we got. Let's see who we've got available by the time AD gets back, because I also think Peachy's a viable option at 13 as well. But Hastings would get first crack at that if everyone's fit. So look, good signs from Jock. He's taking ownership. The kicking game was outstanding. He didn't deserve what happened to him on that last play of the game. I mean, maybe with a bit of experience, he should have just taken the tackle and backed us to, after we'd milked the 40 seconds for the dropout, backed our defence to hold on for 20 seconds. But easy to say that in hindsight. But no, he's a good player. And to be fair, I didn't think 3 weeks ago he was a first grader. So good on him, and I hope he keeps it up.
Yeah, very harsh from you for how young he is. But no, I think he was fantastic. And just a side note, I was up outside my local Woolies for my son, wearing my West Tigers training shirt. I'm still wearing my gear. Actually, I had a guy on the way there call out and say, like, I don't know if you guys have had anyone call out to you, basically saying how much they either feel sorry for us or they're also a fan and just kind of suffering together. So wear your gear, because you get a lot of sympathy wearing West Tigers gear around town. But my point in this story, I swear I saw Jock Madden walk past me. The guy had a mask on, but it looked so much like him going past. But he looked like really depressed. And I just wanted to, I was with my son, and I just wanted to say, Jock, mate, you had a, despite that last play, I wouldn't have said that, but I wanted to tell him, mate, you had a blind every game. You were fantastic. So if you are listening, Jock, which you're probably not, yeah, I thought he was fantastic. I reckon I might give him my 3 points. I reckon just on the scale of it being his 5th game and just how much he's taken control. And when you score no tries, to give the halfback the 3 points. I mean, Luke Brooks got a point in the daily end points, so I think Jock was definitely one of the best on ground for us, and yeah, he's got to be in the side. So now we move on to our other beloved half, Luke Brooks. So Brooksy had 10 runs for 56 metres, 13 post-contact metres. He had no line breaks, no line break assists, no try assists, no line engaged runs, no tackle breaks, no hit-ups. Never did Jock. It's probably a bit unfair for me to read all those zeros out for Luke. But one offload, touched the ball 51 times. Jock touched it 50, so it's pretty close. There, 23 tackles and 2 miss, so his defensive work still pretty high. 8 kicks for 203 metres, a couple of bombs, a couple of grubbers, 2 errors, and gave away a penalty. Rob, was Brooksy... He was obviously the scapegoat, as he is every week. Did he deserve the criticism and the blame for this loss, or how would you rate Brooksy's game?
His efforts there. I'm not questioning his effort, but there were some mistakes there. A couple of bad kicks. Even an early kick in attack, like an attacking kick, looking for a try when we had a player in the sin bin on the 4th tackle, where I just thought it needed cooler head, take a tackle, kick later, like take as much time off the clock as you can. There was one knock on he did off one of their kicks, which I actually thought he could have challenged because Patrick Herbert tackled him before he knocked the ball on. He actually took his arms from him. I guess the key one is that high tackle he did on Corey Thompson with about 2.5 minutes left. That's enthusiasm, but you got to have a little bit of composure there. It was a stupid thing to go for goal, I thought at the time, but they didn't get the short kickoff back, and we'd worked our way back down there, and that penalty just yet again gave them another piggyback down the field that ultimately led to that winning try. So, no, look, not his best game to be fair, but I can't say one of those 17 boys didn't try their guts out, but we need Brooksy to be better than that. Not just because of the money he's on. He's one of our senior players now, so definitely tried hard. There's a few things that aren't going his way. I'd like to see a few little positional changes with our forwards and stuff like that. But that would actually, I think, suit his game a little bit better. But look, it wasn't one of his better games, and I think I've been pretty fair on Brooksy and been pretty easy on him this year because he has tried, but he hasn't been at his best.
Shayne, thoughts on Brooksy?
Yeah, look, effort's there. Just his decision making and 5th tackle options. Just, I don't know. It's just so subpar at the moment. And it's, you know what, I can't even say at the moment. It's been like that for years. Like, it's like the 5th tackle comes, sometimes you can see on his face, he doesn't want the ball. Like, he's just like, oh man, like, what am I going to do with this? And don't worry, Brooksy, we're looking at you thinking the same. What are you going to do? It's just so confusing. Like, you just look on his face and it's like, oh shit, what am I going to do here? Who am I going to pass to? Like, he just doesn't even want the ball. And it's like, it's week in, week out. Like, these last few games have been really bad. Just kicks to nothing. Like, look, don't get me wrong. The first few games, like the first 2 games, I should say, like he had some really good kicking. The first game, he was kicking excellent. Like I thought he was great, but it's just gone back to what we saw last year. And like comparing to Jock, like the kick meters, like Jock's putting in a lot more kicks. Like he's got almost 120 meters further in his kick meters. Like I don't know. Like that's the killer for me. Brooks, I don't like the Brooks bomb and the 5th tackle options. Like it's almost like he doesn't have the footy IQ that we all seem to believe he's got. If you know what I mean. Like I know that sounds bad, I'm not saying he's a dumb person, but just the play, like some of the plays, it's just like, what are we meant to do? Like, we're watching the same shit week in, week out, and we're not trying anything different. Jock Madden comes in, is giving us a spark, putting some grubbers through. Like last week's a perfect example. Jock puts a grubber through, we almost score. All of a sudden, Brooks is like, oh, fuck yeah, I can do that too. Puts a grubber through and Dane Laurie bombs it. But that was a try. Where is this? Like, why don't we see this week in, week out? We just see, oh, I'm 10 metres out, I'm going to try to bomb it somewhere. Like, it's killing me. It's killing me.
Is any of the onus on Madge? Like, a lot of people have a crack at Madge, but as a halfback, it should be just off the cuff, making a decision in the moment. Really, not Madge. Okay,
100%.
Madge told me to do this. I mean, it's a little bit of both, but
the halfback has to coach on the go as well.
yeah.
Like, all halfbacks coach their team on the go, because you can't set up for every single situation in training. A real game is very different to training. So Brooks doesn't have that ability. It doesn't seem. He can't keep the composure in the team. He can't keep the team under control. Jackson does that. Jackson squares us up. It's going to be different when Adam gets back. Like, I really do want to see Adam and Jock in the halves. I didn't think I'd be saying this. And then Jackson at 13. Like, that's what I really want. And like Brooks, I don't know. Like, you can try him at hooker, but he's not a hooker. So I know that's been thrown around quite a lot. I just don't think he'll be able to do it. Yeah, he can tackle, but how good's his passing both ways? Off the ground like that, I don't know. Like, it's going to be different when Adam gets back. Difficult decisions.
Yeah. The amount of money he's on, it's hard to see him get dropped, but we'll see what happens. Right, moving on to Jimmy Tarmow. So he played 45 minutes. He had 12 runs for 91 metres, 36 post-contact, a tackle break, 11 hit-ups. He had 21 tackles, 2 missed, and I believe he had 2 errors and gave away 1 penalty. Rob, any thoughts on Big Jimmy Tarmow in this one?
Yeah, he played pretty solid. I like Jimmy when he can, produce an offload or something like that. We didn't get one the other night, but to be fair, it wasn't a game of many offloads at all. I think our whole team had about 6 offloads combined between all 17 players, so it was a pretty dour game. But look, he's doing a reasonable job. He's at the back end of his career, but he's having a go. So, nothing, I wouldn't say great game, I wouldn't say poor game, but he's definitely got his heart and soul into it, and he was trying to help the referee make some sin bin decisions, and he was pretty enthusiastic about everything. So he was kind of he was kind of trying to be a captain for us, definitely. So yeah, Jimmy was all right, but nothing special. Shayne?
One thing I want to point out, Josh, if you can go over to play the ball speed for me and just look at Jimmy Tarmow as compared to everybody else. This is what I noticed in the game.
Oh, yeah.
He is a second faster than everyone at playing the ball.
Yeah, so for those, obviously, I've got the stats up in the live stream. So basically, he's 2.46, and the next highest is
3.14 with Nopper.
And Twally's 3.2. So he's...
Other than that, everyone's over him by almost a second.
He's very often is he put on his back. He's usually he's often tackled standing up. So,
well, when I was talking to him on the golf day, he mentioned that he loves a quick play the ball, and we are too slow as a team at playing the ball. And he's leading by example. We need everyone else to follow it up, because the quick play the ball can lead to so many opportunities. So I just wanted to point that one out.
Well pointed out, mate. I never picked up on that. Well done.
Look, he did have a good game, and I believe this year, these last 2 games he's played have been better than any game we watched him play last year. And he's playing over half the game, playing 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So
he's
look,
he's definitely standing out for sure.
yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and yeah, This is what we knew he's capable of. This is what we all knew he's capable of. So
On to our hooker for this week. So Lids played 58 minutes. He obviously went off for a little bit with the HIA check, but ended up coming back on, luckily in time for Peach's sin bin. So he had 6 runs for 45 metres, 18 post contact, 1 hit up, 5 runs out of dummy half for 42 metres, 76 passes. He made 30 tackles, only 1 missed. He did seem like he was working pretty hard in defence. And errors, he had 1 handling error, which I'm trying to think. Anyone remember Lids' error from the game?
Not really.
Did he play the ball and it fell out of his hand? It just slipped straight
Oh,
down?
no. It was. I know what it was. It was someone offloaded it to him in the last tackle, and someone knocked it down out of his hands. And if he basically had given it off to someone else, we probably score. So we're really close to their line. I'm trying to think who offloaded it.
Oh, he did a forward pass, if that's what you're talking the error was about.
No. He drops the ball in the last tackle. Someone offloads. Who is it? I think might have been Jock ran it. Someone ran it and then tried to kick it back to him, and then someone, as he goes to pass it, someone knocks his arm and he drops the ball. But anyway, thoughts on Lids this game? We were talking about New South Wales Cup earlier, and Jake Simpkin was very impressive for Maggie's last night, and the 3 of us have all said that we like both Jacob and Jake to be in the rotation. I've always thought Lids is a little bit better attacking wise, but I don't know. But watching yesterday's second grade and watching Lids' delivery out of dummy half in this game, it's starting to swing. I don't know. It's hard to choose, Shayne. But thoughts on Lids and the hooker situation at the moment?
Look, I think we all know my position. Like I'd rather Jake Simpkin in there. Look, yeah, he's probably not 100% ready, but I just feel like we don't get as many silly mistakes. It's almost like when Little's out there, especially on the weekend, the first like 15, 20 minutes, he just seemed very frazzled and had to do everything super fast and was just pushing the line way too much. Like it was, and to be honest, his service was slow. It was weird. Like he looked so frazzled and like just running around like a headless chook, and then just wasn't really doing what I think he was trying to do. He just seemed a bit lost out there. But look, I'll give him a rap, getting old mate's head, Big Mo's head, smashed straight into your nose, and getting up from it, and coming back on to play. Like,
Yep. You can't question his toughness.
No, that's it.
Rob, thoughts on Lids?
Yeah, as we said earlier, the bravery to come back on was amazing. I shouldn't be joking about our players, but he came into that game like he'd had a concussion in the warm-up. His service was terrible before Mo hit him in the head. So I was really disappointed, especially from the week before, because I really saw some positive signs against New Zealand. I thought he was just starting to pick apart their pack a little bit, putting our forwards through little half gaps. And I thought, you know what, I think Lids has just kind of outshone Simpkin, and I'm a Simpkin man myself. So I actually thought Lids should be the starting hooker regardless. But that service last Thursday night was terrible. I hate to say it, guys. It's not first grade standard. And I know he doesn't do it all the time, but that was really, really a poor game. I mean, he did have one moment. He got held up over the line. He went for a dart from dummy half 10 minutes after half time, so he almost scored a try. But
Yeah.
no, he needs to be a lot better than that. And I actually thought he threw a really poor pass, as I mentioned earlier, in attack. It might have even been forward. I don't know. It was just a
The
hospital
Joffa,
pass. Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. And I just thought, what are you doing, mate? You've played 60 NRL games at least now. Like, you're better than that. So, like I said, I admire his bravery, but he had a poor game as far as I'm concerned. That's all I've got to say on him.
He has played. How many games do you reckon he played? I just looked it up for you.
About 60.
That was his 66th game, so good guess.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it wasn't a guess. I knew he had about 50 last year. So
Yeah, but good guesstimating there, Roberto. Zane Musgrove, 32 minutes. He had 9 runs for 85 metres, 18 post-contact. 38 post-contact metres. 1 tackle break in there as well. He had 16 tackles, none missed. And Zane, no errors from Zane this week, just a ruck infringement. Rob, thoughts on Zane Musgrove? Numbers don't really stand out spectacular there, but
no, not really. But
no
the
errors is
post-contact
good
meters
though.
are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the no error is good. But look, it was just a nothing special sort of game. But he did a roll. Could have done a bit more, but really not much. Really not much to say, to be honest. I didn't really notice him too much, but I actually did notice that there was no error from him. So that's one thing that he got rid of this week, which almost helped. But yeah, really got nothing much to say about him. He went okay.
Yeah.
Shayne?
Yeah, look, I just noticed he didn't make a mistake. That is really all. Other than that, I didn't really notice him too much. Like, he did a few good runs, few big hit-ups, shook their pack a bit. But from like what we heard from training from a few of the boys, like he's one of the hardest boys to tackle. Him and McKaylee are just supposedly really, really just solid fellas, and we can see that, but we want to see it on the field. And yeah, just it's sort of every time he's out there, we're waiting for that mistake that's going to happen or something silly. But look, he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a great game. It was a 6 out of 10 for me. It was average, a little bit over.
Kelma Tuolagi in the number 11 jersey, so 41 minutes. He went off injured, I believe.
Yeah, he didn't come back after half time. Or
Yeah.
He start the second half anyway.
Yeah, I did notice I had him as my try scorer on Sportsbet, and they gave me a refund for some reason for that. So, not sure why, but
they felt
not
sorry
complaining.
for you, mate, because we lost the game in the last minute.
Yeah, and then I probably lost it betting on the Denver Nuggets the next day. 6 runs for 66 metres. Well, that's a bit spooky, isn't it? 6 runs, 66 metres. Yeah. Kelma Satan Tuolagi.
Let's say nothing.
37 post-contact metres, 1 tackle break, 6 hit-ups. He had 25 tackles, 3 missed, and 1 kick, which I believe should have been the one that led to the try, or should have been a try for Ollie Gildart, and only gave away 1 penalty. I mean, even in those half a game, that's like, if you double those numbers, that's a pretty good game from Kelma, Shayne.
Yeah, they're good stats. He's excellent. I'm pretty shitty we're losing him next year, but yeah, I'd like to see how long he's. Hopefully, it's not a serious injury. We haven't really heard anything, have we?
No.
There's been really nothing on that NRL. What is it?
NRL
Physio, or whatever it is.
yeah.
Been nothing on that. So
Well, he normally goes
look,
off the club will say the club will say something, then he'll analyse it.
So fingers crossed, it's nothing serious.
Any thoughts, Rob, on Kelma?
The 3 missed tackles are probably a bit of a worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, other than that, they're high quality numbers. We're going to get on to Luch next in a minute, but I'll ask you a question, Shayne. I really want to see Tuolagi and Leilua swap sides. Every time I see Tuolagi run the ball, he's got that ball in the right hand, and every time I see Luch run the ball, he's got the ball in the left hand. And, we saw last season, a couple of times Luch would make a break on the left early in the season before he got moved to the right, and Brooksy would back up. And, we famously saw on Tales of Tiger Town, Lids scoring a try against Parramatta. That was basically Luch on the left, Brooksy backing up, which promotes his running game, and he gave it inside to Lids, who scored. I just think our back rowers are on the wrong side of the field. I don't know what you think there, Shayne, but we'll get on to Luch in a minute. But do you think Tuolagi should be on the left?
Yeah, well, I actually haven't noticed that. Thanks for pointing it out, because I'm going to suss it out next
Yeah,
game.
I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Just if you have a replay, he carries the ball in that right arm. Like he's talented enough to do it both ways. But like Luch has always got the ball in the left arm, and when he was on the left side, he was always doing that around the corner pass to Brooksy, and he's got no one to do that to on the right. Like Luch is running on that 45-degree angle towards the sideline on the right side with his leading arm carrying the ball. Like that's the arm that should be fending. So I just find it really weird that we've played.
Maybe
Luch.
that's why he's not passing out to Roberts.
Yeah, it's his bad side.
Well, you see every time he gets his arm free, it's that left arm, but it's the wrong way. Like I just reckon they should be swapping sides. But Madge is probably not listening to this, but hopefully someone is. And I just want to know why they're not. Why Luch isn't on the left. More importantly, but anyway.
Aaron just said in the chat, text that to Jimmy Tarmow. See what Madge says, Shayne.
Yeah, there you go, Shayne. You got some homework, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. I won't send it now, but I'll send it tomorrow morning.
He's probably asleep. Don't wake him up.
I'll let everyone know what happens.
Righto, Luciano, as we were talking about Luciano Leilua, he had 12 runs for 124 metres, 62 of those post-contact. So literally bang on half his metres were post-contact, 4 tackle breaks, 11 hit-ups. He had 1 offload, which is very low for him. The only real number that's not standing out. 22 tackles, just 1 missed. And then error-wise, he gave away 1 penalty, but no errors. Boys, I underplayed him last week, and then he started following us on Instagram, so I don't want to, if he is listening, fantastic game from Luciano Leilua. Just making up for last week. But no, he was pretty good. It's what we've come to expect from him now, Shayne.
Yeah, he's just consistent. Like he straight up is our most consistent player. Yeah, I have my little gripes with him and how he plays, but look, he's definitely is our most consistent player, and he's putting up good numbers all the time. So hopefully you can just keep it up for the rest of the year. Hopefully when we get a few of these other boys back, we can get a bit of structure and get a bit more ball. But yeah, like as Rob said, carries the ball in the left hand, put him on the left side so he can do little flick passes out the side to him. I didn't notice it. I'm going to watch it now. I'll probably watch it back later. And yeah, that's interesting.
Any other thoughts on Luch, Rob?
No, nothing to add. Pretty much, he's had 4 top games out of 4 games, so definitely our most consistent player.
Yeah.
I got nothing but praise for him, but I'm not going to keep repeating myself. Just great game, and hopefully he can keep it up. Pity we're losing him.
Jonathan Gowey, 64 minutes. Just on Luch, he missed 4 minutes. Did he go off injured late in the game?
I'm pretty sure he went down. I stand corrected. Maybe you or Shayne can help me out here, but I'm pretty sure, and hopefully we get onto a little bit, when Brooksy takes the goal for 6-2, I feel like the clock was stopped because...
he was getting strapped. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was off from that moment, because if he's missed a couple of minutes, it might have been those, and that's maybe why Safe Half came on. I'm not really sure, but I don't want to say the wrong thing there, but he was definitely injured in that moment.
Well, Safe Half's got exactly 4 minutes, and he's got 76, so that I think you've hit the nail on the head.
That might have been the sub, yeah.
Very weird substitution, but we'll get to that when we get to him. Jonathan Gowey played started in the lock, played 64 minutes. He had 16 runs for 143 metres, 67 post-contact metres, 13 hit-ups. He had 30 tackles, only one missed. And then error-wise, he had two handling errors, but didn't give away any penalties. Joffa normally gives away a penalty, but we're talking about Luciano being pretty consistent. Joffa's putting up some pretty consistent numbers this year, Rob.
Yeah, you can tell he's playing for the coach. He's playing for the team. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like Joffa's being given the ball in some, not in a position where he's got the momentum. I feel like Joffa's getting the ball where he's really got to make some tough yards with men on him. He's getting the ball on nothing plays where he might be just, even when we're in their red zone, settling the ball, near the post or something like that. So he's really having to do some tough work, and his enthusiasm is fantastic. He's not in my points this week, but I just can see he's busting his gut every week, and I love him, mate. I love our boys. They're giving it everything, and we're all self-short on what a squad they are and lacking this and lacking that. I saw some pretty piss-poor teams on the weekend. Our boys had a red-hot crack, so I'm really proud of him, and yeah, he's been pretty consistent all year, to be fair.
And you can't forget,
Shayne?
There's literally 5 guys sitting on the sideline that would
bloody
walk into this side. So, Shayne, on Joffa as well, do you think he's better? Obviously, we're talking about putting Jackson in the 13. Do you think Joffa's better served in the front row rotation?
I like him in the front row rotation. He's a very good impact player. Like, look, he could start for us, but him coming off the bench, like, from what we've seen, like, he's making big hits and big runs with fresh boys tackling him. Like, this is from the get-go, he's doing these runs.
Yeah.
So imagine him coming in with a tired pack or a few tired ball, like tired hooker, like the whole centre of the park's tired, and he just comes in there and just absolutely blows them apart. That's what we need. And that is what I don't like about Twal coming in off the bench. He isn't an impact player. So I know we'll get into him in a little bit, but we need, I'd say, later in the year, if Jackson does go to 13, we'll definitely be seeing Joe in the forward rotation. 100%.
And not having Luke Garner, a back rower, on the bench probably doesn't make much sense either. But next in line, Tyron Peachy, 47 minutes. Obviously lost 10 from a sin bin. Again, 7 runs, 50 metres, 18 post-contact metres, 1 tackle break. He had 30... Where are his dummy half passes? Because he obviously moved into hooker while Lids was off. I can't find that. But he had 26 tackles, 3 missed, and then error-wise, he just gave away 2 penalties. Obviously, one that he was sent for. Rob, you kind of touched on it already. I rewatched the game today, and I don't understand why Tyron Peachy was sent for that indiscretion.
Yeah, it's a really soft sin bin, guys. One that, it just made no sense. They hadn't even crossed their side of the halfway. I think it was pretty close to the halfway line. Nothing in it. A second shove, like we see in a lot of other play the balls. Maybe he sent him to the sin bin because we'd been penalised so many times previously, but I don't know if there was a warning or not. But it was just, it's a sort of penalty that can change a game. Luckily for us, we defended that sin bin, and I don't think we've got the stats on it, Josh, but when was the last time we had a player in the sin bin and didn't concede a try? So I think the boys did really well to defend with 12 men. I still think Peach is a 13, and it's great that, we could have Jackson at 13, Jackson Hastings or Tyrone Peachy at 13. I think he offers more. He's not a dummy half, but I like it when Peach gets into first receiver. He did a couple of good things against the Warriors at first receiver the other week, and just even sometimes as a decoy runner. I just want him floating around the field. I don't want him tied down. So, he's putting a bit more effort into it. But we might have to start calling him Sin Bin Peachy if he keeps getting in there every week. But yeah, he played okay. His numbers aren't great, but he was playing out of position a fair bit.
Call
Shayne?
him Tyrone Oranges because he goes off the field. Shayne, thoughts on Tyron Peachy?
Look, he was sort of everywhere. As Rob said before, he's playing. I reckon he played about 4 or 5 different positions on the weekend. I reckon his sin bin was a load of shit. I think he made the tackle. Old mate went to get up, didn't get up to play the ball. He got up
Yeah, he
because
kept
nothing
running.
was, and he kept running, and Peachy swung it around. That's not that should have been a knock on, not a sin binning. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, that pissed me off because that was such a bullshit call. Again, another one. I reckon we could tally up probably 10 shitty calls. But yeah, look, he was everywhere. I think at some points he was a bit lost because he was sort of like floating in between a few different positions at some time. But yeah, look, he played good. Just hopefully he doesn't keep getting sent off because us being down a player doesn't help. But look, our defence is definitely better. So
Can you challenge us, Simbin? I don't think we had
I'm
the
not
challenge.
sure, Josh.
We didn't have the
I doubt
challenge
it,
at that point, I don't think, anyway. But can you challenge a penalty as well? Or is it only errors?
Yeah, you can challenge a penalty, I think. I don't know. Well, I know you can't challenge a non-decision, so
Yeah.
therefore you can challenge a decision, can't you? So a penalty would be a decision. I don't know. I really don't know the exact answer to that. Thanks for putting me on the spot on no notice.
Yeah,
mate.
no, if
Appreciate
anyone
it.
in the chat can confirm that for us, do a Googling for us. As we move on to Alex Twal, he played 64 minutes off the bench. He had 14 runs for 134 metres. He had 58 post-contact metres, 2 tackle breaks. Was pretty quick in the play the ball, as Shayne said earlier. He had 1 pass the whole game, which is more than usual. 34 tackles made, and of course he didn't miss a single one. Just absolute machine in defence as always. Gave away 1 penalty, but no errors. Shayne, that was pretty much a signature Alex Twal game, really.
100%. Yeah. Look, we need to start him. We need an attacking forward, which is usually Stefano, and we need 12. Like, we need a defensive forward because he doesn't miss a tackle. He can play big minutes. Like, he's playing 3/4 of the game there. Like, just, you could probably leave him on for 80 and then have 3 barnstorming attacking forwards on a rotation. Like, imagine how good that would be.
So
But
you're
look,
saying about 28 minutes each? My maths is
yeah,
right.
just that's it. Just swap
27.
them around so the boys are getting. We're pretty much got fresh legs all the time. The boys start to tire out, bang, swap. Like, I think that would be a smart decision if you want to run a big bench, and we seem to want to run a big bench lately. So I really just don't think he's a bench player.
Yeah.
And look at the minutes he's playing.
Well, it doesn't make. It
Like,
makes more sense than Alex Seatharth playing 4 minutes.
100%.
And
Just
probably didn't
throw
play
him
any
in.
if Luciano doesn't get injured.
That's it. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why was he there? If you want big boys on the bench, utilize them, swap them, get fresh legs there. And obviously we had the interchange because it happened like 4 minutes. But I really believe Twal should be a starting prop with someone else who's gonna be running hard
So you
and enforce it
bench.
for the prop.
So would you put him with Jimmy? Or would you put him with Zane?
or someone else?
I'll be honest, at the moment, with Stefano out, I'll be putting him with Jimmy.
Yeah.
I just don't think, like, Zane doesn't seem to run as much. He doesn't take as many hit ups, whereas Jimmy just wants the ball and straightens the play and gives it a red hot crack. So I really think him and Jimmy to start off with, even though Jimmy's a very good defensive prop as well. I would say, look, all props have to be good defensively. That's their job. But you know what I'm saying. Like Twile definitely, he runs soft. Like I don't think he runs that hard. I don't know how he's made 2 tackle breaks because like to me he seems like one of the slowest players on the field. But defensively, he's the best prop in the game.
Rob, anything to add to that about Twally?
Oh, we've said it before. I don't think he should be coming off the bench. I said that 2 weeks ago, as you probably remember. Just what I want to say about Twally, and if this actually goes back to the Dally M points, which I think is rather ludicrous, based on if Greg Inglis looks at the stats, he'd probably give Twal man of the match because he's given Big Tino for Suamala Awi, or however you pronounce it, from the Gold Coast 3 points. Tino's had 133 metres, Twal's had 134. They've made 34 tackles each. Tino's missed 2 tackles and Twal's missed none. So Twal's actually had a better game statistically, yet Tino's got the 3 points and Twal's got nothing. So, look, another great game from Twal. Just, definitely a high achiever for us. Glad he pumped out big minutes because I don't think he's the sort of guy that should be putting 40 minutes in. I agree with Shayne. Jimmy should be starting with Twal. I think Musgrove gives you a bit more impact. And to be fair, I'd actually be putting McKaylee on the bench. I love what Garner's doing, don't get me wrong. Like when Garner comes on, he's really giving it everything and he's playing well. But we've got Seyfarth can play in the middle if we need a middle, or Seyfarth can play that edge back rower. So Seyfarth can actually fill both roles. I don't really feel Garner can play a middle role. He can only play an edge role. So I would be running McKaylee before Garner myself. But Madge is a coach, and in Madge we trust.
The McKaylee thing is a good point. Shayne, why is McKaylee? Why do you think McKaylee's not getting picked?
I'll be honest, I'm not too sure. He played in the second game, I'm pretty sure, and he didn't come back for Warriors last week, did he?
No.
Did he play in the cup game, Shayne?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I didn't notice him yesterday. No.
He must be injured.
Yeah, but
I mean, he would have had to have got a run, surely.
You'd think so, but I don't know. It's odd. Like,
Josh, who was our 18th man? Was McKay the 18th man?
No, Stafford Toa.
Oh, Toa. Okay, yeah. Well, then maybe something's wrong with him. I really didn't pay attention, but I just think having a second rower on the bench is a waste, absolute waste. Like we need another big body there.
Having an edge back rower, an edge player in general, like you got to think he was playing centre last week as well. Yeah, so yeah, like he can play an edge, but yeah, I really don't believe he'd be up to playing in the middle.
Yeah, well, surely he's not playing backup centre. Like putting a second rower on the bench. You may as well put Toa there. So yeah, I don't know. I think Madge was hedging his bets with him. But look, I'm really happy with how Garner's playing when he comes on the field. I've got no issue with his play or his effort or his tackles or anything, and he's running. I just think he's the wrong fit for the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. So Garner, we haven't gone through his stats yet, have we?
55 metres. Yeah. Sorry, you go.
I haven't gone through his stats yet, have we? We kind of just moved on. Yeah. So 55 meters, 5 runs, 25 post contact. This is in what was his minutes? Bang on 40. He had 3 tackle breaks, 5 hit ups, and 16 tackles, none missed, and no errors. So yeah, he definitely does the job when he comes on. I mean, a couple of years ago, he was just such a good hole runner off Brooksy. The Luke to Luke combo years ago was so good. It just for whatever reason isn't there. It's a weird role for him this year. That was back when he was starting back row, and you obviously can't drop Kelmer or Luch, and he had to play centre last week. So, yeah, Luke Garner's better than the position he's been put in. Any other thoughts on Luke Garner? Because we kind of went to him a little bit early.
Just that he played. I'm happy with how he's playing, but like I said, I don't think he should be there unless he's starting. Shayne, have you got any thoughts on him?
No, I agree. Like he plays very well when he comes on.
Yeah.
Defensively, he's been a lot better because he was a bit leaky. Defensively, he's been really solid actually, which is good. But yeah, like you don't need a second rower on the bench, and you've got a forward in Alex Seyfarth who can play both. So what's the actual point of having one? Like
Exactly.
Yeah, the Seyfarth, so 4 minutes is obviously last on the list. Just going through his stats is pretty much pointless. I don't think he registered. He made 2 tackles and missed none. That was pretty much his night. Would he even bother have had a shower after that? But I don't get it.
With that though, with that, even though like there's really nothing to say with Seyfarth except that he got a little bit of camera time when the ball hit the post, and the ball went flying past him with a bad bounce. By forget Seyfarth, like let's just say Seyfarth took Garner's spot for example. There's no need for one of them, which means we could run a 2-hooker rotation. I mean, it would make our bench pretty light with Simpkin and Peachy. But there is room to have 2 hookers there if you want to do it. But,
yeah.
Well, you'd be running Peachy as a 13 and swapping him with Joffa, so that would be all right. That wouldn't matter because you'd add Joffa to the front line there, if you know what I mean. So you'd let Joffa do the first hit out for the first, say, 20, 30 minutes, take him to the bench, and in the second half, bring him on as a forward. You would.
Yeah, and Peachy can block a 5'8" roll or a centre roll, as a stopgap measure if needed. So, he's quite versatile.
I'd say it would probably be a smart idea running him and Joffa as the 13s and having a 2-hooker rotation with 2 props on the bench.
Yeah. Well, we might have to. I don't know what we're going to do.
But Twile can play 80 minutes. We've got 3 forwards who are just going to be rotating through.
Yeah, I just the only downside is that like having Peach and Simpkin there does make our bench small. But if you're not going to use a 17th man, well, who cares? You may as well. It doesn't matter what size the bench is exactly. So I don't know. We'd have. I mean that's the thing. Like in the press conference, they don't ask Madge these questions. They're not difficult questions, but they just need to say, hey, was there any reason you didn't use Seyfarth? No one questioned that kick for goal with 4 minutes left. Like I thought that was the crucial part of the game. No one says anything. Like they're not hard questions. They're just not being asked.
Yeah, because all the journalists care about is their little headlines. How can we pick something out of them to get a stupid response? That's literally what it is.
They're nerd questions, yeah.
But if they're after Madge's head, which I don't want, to be honest, like I just want Madge to focus a bit more on our attack and straightening it up. But if they're after Madge's head, that's the question you ask. Because like I'm calling out Madge on that decision. I actually think it's, we always refer to American sports like, if, in basketball, like they'll run up a play with, 20 odd seconds left, or in NFL, you got a 2-minute drill to get down the other end. Like we have to know what we're doing when there's a few minutes left, how to ice a game. Like as soon as we got that penalty, as I probably alluded to it on Twitter, I don't know if any of you guys saw it or not, but I reckon that was Cameron Smith from Melbourne a couple of years ago. He fucks around for a bit, goes around in a circle. The ref says, come on, mate, what are you doing? And he goes, we'll kick for touch, even though we're right in front of the post. He says, kick for touch.
To waste time.
Waste time, and then he'll go back to the ref and say, hey, ref, where's the mark again? And he'll point to the mark there. And then Cameron Smith will kick it backwards from 5 metres out to about 15 metres out. And then all the Melbourne Storm players will be standing in front of the mark, and the ref's got to say, go back and get him back on side. And he's taken 30 seconds off the clock there. Then you play your set of 6, and then they put the ball in goal, and you keep them trapped, and there's a minute and a half left. And that's if you haven't scored. And for us, like someone actually said they think they saw Brooksy say, fuck it, I'll go for goal. Like you actually saw him mouth, because he was looking around for direction. And this is where we lack leadership, but B, I think from the coaching staff, we should know, like, what are we going to do if we get in this situation? If we're 2 points up and there's 3 minutes left, coach, and we're 13 on 13, what do you want us to do? Like, it's something that should be predetermined.
And
you
time
time
was off too.
Don't you agree,
They didn't.
guys?
Yeah, time was off, so
Yeah,
they
but
didn't have to rush
time
it.
was off because of Luch. Time was off because of Luch, and that probably
No, I mean,
affected
like
things
the
later.
time with the time off. It's not like they had to rush to the decision. They had 20, 30 seconds to think about it.
Exactly. But I think any smart team there, once the clock comes back on, kicks for touch, wastes another 20 or 30 seconds. The set of 6 is going to take another 50 seconds or so. And you've got to back yourself to pin them down there. Like, yes, we kicked for goal, and yes, they didn't get the ball back from the short kickoff, and we went down there anyway. So technically, you could say it made no difference, but it's just lack of a system of finishing off the game. And that's got to come from the coaching box. And look, I love Madge, and I want him to be there, and he stands for everything that I want our players and our club to be. He's the most resilient bugger you've ever seen. But, look, I'm loving our defence, but geez, if we get our attack right, we're going to be something special, So I just hope we get our attack right. But we've got, like I said a couple of weeks ago, when you have a team that's not as good as the rest of the teams in the comp, the coaching decisions have to be even smarter. And I don't think that was the right thing to do, to go for goal. What team ever goes for goal to go from 2 ahead to 4 ahead, ever in a game?
Well, the three.
I know there was 4 minutes.
The three of us said in the chat straight away, we'll go for it. Like, mathematically, it doesn't make sense. You only go for goal if it changes from 1 try to 2 try to, like, from 2 to 3. Like, it's
but people were even
simple.
saying, Josh, to take the quick tap. You don't even take a quick tap. You just milk it.
Yeah.
Just milk it and kick it out and prick around and frustrate them and just get that ball into the in goal and make them have a goal line dropout and let them go for a short dropout and take the risk and try and throw the game away and do something heroic or special. But back your defence. Like, if they'd have got the ball back from the kickoff, we would have just all been saying, why did you go for goal straight away?
Yeah.
But,
and they're 50-50s.
I mean, we did it ourselves. But I just think it was a stupid decision.
Short kickoffs happen about half the time too.
I want to know whose decision it was. That's the thing. Do you think it was Madge, or do you think it was Brooks? Because if you just, as you just said,
I think it was Brooks because no decision came out. I think it was Brooks because no decision came out. But saying
if you're
that.
Halfback, why wouldn't you want to go for a fucking try? Okay, boys, let's fucking ice this. Let's go.
Exactly.
He probably thought the clock was running.
Instead, oh fuck it, I'm going to kick a goal. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, this is what we were talking about before, the footy IQ stuff.
That's right. And it goes back to what I said in the first half, Shayne. It goes back to what I said in the first half when we had a Peachy in the sin bin. Brooksy kicked the ball on the second last tackle as an attacking play. Like, just take the tackle, mate. Every 20 seconds or 30 seconds we're taking off that clock is to our benefit.
Yeah.
Like, even if you get the ball in to touch on the last tackle and waste 30 seconds for the scrum to pack or whatever, like, we don't have the game management skills. But I think when there's 3 or 4 minutes left, you've got the coaching system has to have, say, guys, if we're in this position, this is what we're doing, whether we're in their red zone or in our red zone. We've got to have certain plays, like I said, akin to an NFL 2-minute drill. So it's just, I wish someone just asked Madge that. Just whatever the answer was, I just would have liked to have heard an answer from our coach.
Righto, guys. So this is hard every week when we, especially when we don't score a try. 3-2, the MG Pumps Player of the Year. 3-2-1. Has anyone come to their decision?
Yeah, I've changed my mind again. But you want to go first, Shayne?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
So my 3's for Jock. Because I just thought he played awesome. Really took control of the team. Kicking was wild, really. 2, Jimmy Roberts, just for his defence work on that edge. That edge they are a good left edge, and Jimmy Roberts held it with him. He was stopping the big boys, so I've got to commend that. And I'd say 1 to Luch. It was a toss-up between him and Kenny, because just Kenny was just barnstorming running. He was just hammering through. But Luch had just another good game.
Yep.
Like, he just shows up So I can't leave him out. He deserves it.
Righto, Rob.
20 minutes ago, I had those exact same placings, exact same people. I've just changed my mind again. I'm going to put Roberts for 3 points. I don't think he'll have a better game than that this year. Yeah, I'm going to put Roberts for 3, Jock for 2, Luch for 1. And the reason I've changed my mind is Talakai could break Roberts in half this week. So this is my one chance to give Jimmy Roberts man of the match.
It's like giving it out under sevens.
Mate, I honestly swapped my mind 4 or 5 times in 3 days because I just think Madden was so good controlling the game. But then I watched back today and saw some of those breaks Jimmy made.
Yeah.
And then that hole that if Dane had given him the ball, he would have scored. And then the kick pressure he put on the in goal. And then some of that fierce defence that, I mean, he did get pushed off a couple of times, don't get me wrong. But some of that defence Shayne was alluding to in the second half, I just think he's putting everything into it. Like I said, he's playing every game like his last. So just in case it is his last, I'm giving him 3 points.
So I've gone Jock for 3 as well. I thought I was going to be the only one to go Jock for 3 there, but he definitely deserved. I was tossing up whether that last play was enough to peg him down slightly, but I think he just controlled the game so well, and it's all on a scale. So the amount of experience, what we say is his 5th game. So, so I've gone him into Luch. Yeah, we've pretty much covered Luch. He was just too good, just consistently good every week. And then I went Joe for often Gowey for 1, just those numbers and the work rate. He reminds me kind of like a better version of Elijah Taylor. He's just that tough workhorse that doesn't get the credit. And
Very cool.
Yeah, I gave Joe 1 point. So looking at the tally, Luch is running away with it. And we've given him another, 2, 3, 4 points there. So, Shayne, MG Pump Solutions, how's that going this week?
Yeah, good. Too much work on. So, just trying to...
So if anyone wants to hit up MG Pumps and don't, Shayne has too much work going on at the moment.
Just heaps of jobs, just organising everything, waiting for parts. It's just everyone's still pulling the old COVID's delaying everything. So sort of you having to swap and match jobs to try to fill your days out while you're waiting for other bits and pieces. So a lot of swapping and changing in the morning. So you rock up to work, you go, yeah, we're doing all this. Oh, wait, this isn't in. Oh, that's not there. Oh, we can't get this. So that's all right. Still busy, so I can't really complain.
And Rob, we're about to pushing towards 2 hours again, but obviously a lot to talk to. But have we missed anything? Is there anything bubbling away in that in that big brain? I shouldn't have said little. Big brain of yours that you want to get off your chest, or do you think?
No, look, if I get something off my chest, I'm going to go for another couple of hours. I just want to really look. I know how frustrated the fans are. I know we're sick of losing. I just want them to understand we're coming into a period now where we're playing a pretty red hot team in Cronulla. South, they've got a really good attacking team. We might be on the end of a couple of bad scorelines here, but just be proud of the way the guys are trying hard. I know it's not pretty. I know it's ugly, but they're buying into the defensive side of things, which is bloody hell. It's taken 3.5 years, and Canterbury bought 9 players and they got pumped 44-0 by Melbourne. We nearly beat them in round 1. So we're not as bad as everyone's saying we are, and maybe I undersold this squad a little bit. I know it's not showing on competition points, but just hang in there. If we want our team to be resilient, we've got to be resilient as fans. When we learn to win, we're just going to keep winning, guys. It's just, it might not be this year, it might be next year, it might be the year after, but just hang in there, mate. There's nothing better than following the Tigers. So just suck it up, people, and get on with it. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's just the build-up. If it's because of the drought, it's just bubbled away for a decade, and we're just so hungry for any tiny skerrick of success. it's probably making it a lot worse. I think if some other clubs had a lull year like this, they probably wouldn't go off as much. I think we're just so frustrated from just years and years of disappointment. But yeah, definitely the team. And I say it every week, but just look at the amount of talent or key guys that are missing from this squad at the moment. So I really think if Jackson, I think I said this last week, I think if Jackson Hastings plays last Thursday, I think we score at least one try and win the game. So
I think it's easy that we could have won 3 out of 4 games, Josh.
Yeah.
And that's with a lot of players out. And that's with a squad that we've all undersold, really. So I just love that they're buying in. There's no whinging. I can't say one player's not trying, even though like some of the decision-making and some of the players have had poor games on different weeks. But, it broke my heart to see them lose. And I hate it for our fans too, man, because, you just want to... Like, we didn't even get to Friday, and our weekend was shit. Our weekend was shit on
only
Thursday
Thursday, thank God.
we had 4 days, but, like, even now, like, deep down, I'm thinking, Cronulla are running red hot. They got some, like I said, Talakai, on Roberts. That's just a scary thought as it is. But I said that last week about Fafita, and we end up handling Fafita. So, I don't know. I'm expecting to lose, but I'm also thinking, I'm looking forward to seeing, can they back up again after another heartbreak? Because our hearts were broken against New Zealand. Then they were even more broken last Thursday night. Like, can we get up again? So, it is what it is, guys. They're just going to be better for all this, and I'm just glad they're buying in Imagine and they're not turning on each other, and there's no bad quotes in the press. And I actually just caught a glimpse of what Jackson Hastings said before we came on as well, which was really nice. He really backed Madge to the hilt. But definitely I want to, like our coaching staff have to be better with the decisions they're giving our key players, and we look so good when we straighten up that attack. We just strip numbers really well when we straighten up, but when we start running crab-wise, we just look like we can't make a break. So we've just got to work on that attack, boys, and I think we could see some really good things later in the year.
And shouts to Justin and Aaron. They've been tuning into the live stream of the show from start to finish through all this. So definitely something we'll look at doing regularly. So yeah, that was really cool. Thanks for chiming in, boys, for the comments in the chat, and we'll look to go public through the social channels and the YouTube channel with this going forward. So thanks for being our test mules for that too. And we'll be back this Wednesday. We're going to record Wednesday night to preview this weekend, because I'm flying to Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix this weekend, this Thursday. So the Sharks, I'll have to work out how to watch the Tigers v Sharks game on my phone or something. Somehow, I think it might even be on the same time as the Australian Grand Prix race. So anyway, so you'll catch us a little bit earlier with the preview. But as always, thanks for listening. Thanks to the guys tuning in, Rob and Shayne. As always, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife podcast. As always, we are sponsored by Wests Ashfield Leagues Club and as well as MG Pump Solutions. If you could please subscribe if you'd love to hear us again. We're going to have episodes twice a week, every week this season, Mondays and Thursdays. So we're going to, as the season rolls in, be sure to catch us every week. And if you can, give us a like on the socials, so at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Search for WestsLife Podcast on Facebook. And if you'd like to take part in the show, patreon.com/WestsLife. It's just a couple of bucks a month to help grow the show. We'll see you again next time on the WestsLife Podcast.